Hi, it's Crompton here, and in this video I want to guide you through how to use the Disney creative strategy in the workplace. So what is the Disney creative strategy? This was devised by Walt Disney, and it uses three thinking modes, three creative modes that Walt Disney himself used to display. So what are the three personality types, I suppose, that you need to inhabit whenever you're problem solving, whenever you're brainstorming? You run three mini brainstorms, and in each one of them you embody a different personality type, and by doing it in a particular sequence you're likely to land on the most creative, the most innovative, but also the most practical solutions for whatever challenge or opportunity you've set out to solve. So the three personality types are the dreamer, the realist, and then the critic. So first of all, with the dreamer. In this section of a brainstorm, you really need to be thinking with no restrictions and no limits. And in these first 8 minutes, it's just about coming up with as many big, bold, brave ideas as possible. Imagining that time is no object, money is no object, resources are no object. Don't be wary of falling into the trap of oh yeah, but how are we going to do that? And oh, we tried that before. And oh, but what if? In these 8 minutes, all you're doing is thinking big. So challenge yourself, challenge each other, because your brain will start to think, oh, how do we do this? How do we do that? When you spot that happening, challenge each other. No, remain in the dreaming stage. What else could you do? What would you do if you could wave a magic wand? What would our competitors do? What would the most creative and innovative teams on the planet do in this situation? And these kind of questions are going to get you as many big, bold ideas as possible. Then we move on to stage 2, and that is the realist, which is usually where a lot of us are more comfortable sitting. And when you're in the realist stage, this is, again, it's another 8 minutes of brainstorming, but this is where you take the best idea from the dreamer stage. You take the best idea that you came up with, and then now we need to apply the realist. The realist is logical, the realist is practical, the realist asks questions. So in these 8 minutes, you want to take your best idea, or the idea that's most exciting, and then you want to ask questions like, how are we going to do this? What needs to happen first? Who else do we need to involve? Who might we need to influence about this? What's the budget going to be? What's the timeline going to be? What's the quickest and cheapest way that we could test this idea? What's the first step? What would have to happen this week, this month, this quarter? So this is where you're asking really practical questions about the reality of this idea. And then the third and final stage is the critic. So again, another 8 minute brainstorm. And the critic is not, the mistake here is, don't think that the critic is just kind of tearing an idea apart, saying, oh, that won't work, that won't work. That's not what the critic is about. The critic is being really frank and honest as a group as to say, right, is this the best idea that we can come up with? Instead of just tearing down the idea, how can we improve this idea? When we go back to the challenge or the opportunity that we were looking to work on, is this really the best that we can do? Or is there anything more that is needed on this idea to make this the best solution that we can come up with? And this is where, in this stage, this is where you've got to be, we've got to be open to just being quite matter of fact, I suppose, about the ideas on the table. When we're in a brainstorm, we can feel quite sort of emotionally connected to some of the ideas that we've come up with or that we love. And actually, in this stage, in the critic stage, it's about really reviewing the idea, not reviewing the person that came up with the idea. And so once you've set up those three 8 minute stages, if you're the facilitator of this kind of meeting, then you've really got to keep people on track with the zone that they're in, the dreamer, the realist, and then the critic, and don't let them veer off into the others. Good luck with your problem solving and working together, both as teams and across different departments. Get in touch with me on LinkedIn if there's any way I can help.